afternoon. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. I'm Kristen. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I consider this a level 1 class, but please still honor your body's wisdom and take it to the pace and rhythm that feels best to your body, and also offer yourself modifications and variations throughout our practice so that your body is most comfortable. If you are available to make a donation today, I greatly appreciate your support. I am on Venmo, info@KristenRubis.com, and PayPal, krubylove@yahoo.com. Those are also my email addresses, so if you have any questions or comments or things you'd like to connect about, please reach out. Also, my website is KristenRubis.com, just my name, and so that has all the links and information on classes and sound healing offerings. I will be offering my next sound healing workshop this Sunday from 3 to 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be a yin yoga with sound healing workshop, so join me for that if you can. And we're going to start our practice seated. I also do sound healing, and I like to incorporate that into my classes. So we are going to begin with some breath work and meditation while I incorporate the sound healing, and then we'll move into our asana practice. So we will start our practice seated. If you want to do the breath work and the meditation on your back, you're welcome to come onto your back and just take a few moments to relax before we move into our yoga practice. Check in with your body and see what you may need to be even more comfortable. Take some time to make adjustments, movements, wiggles. If you are staying seated for your meditation, begin to cultivate that nice tall spine. You can imagine you've got a little string being tugged from the crown of your head, reaching through the crown to lengthen in the spine. And at that same time, let's allow the shoulders to soften away from the ears. So if you'd like, you can roll the shoulders up, back, and behind you, inviting them back to your back body. And if you're comfortable to close the eyes, close your eyes, or just focusing on a stationary point in the room or just on the screen. And just taking several moments to just land in this present moment. Take some time to begin to connect to the rhythm of our own breath, settling into here and now. The breath is such a great tool to just guide our awareness into now. So just begin to notice, maybe take a hand to the heart and a hand to the belly, and just begin to notice your own rhythm of your own breath. So we'll notice as we take a breath in, our body expands, so maybe your belly begins to fill with breath. You might feel the heart and the chest lift with your inhalation. And then notice with your exhalation how everything begins to release back towards the spine. An essence of letting go. So just take a few moments tapping into the rhythm of your own breath. Observing the cycle of your inhalation and your exhalation. Begin to let the morning go, and letting go of expectations of the afternoon, and just coming into here and now. Relax the muscles of the face, release your jaw, soften any tension in the neck or the shoulders. Relax the whole torso, belly and heart, and the whole part of your back, upper back, mid-back, and low back. Relaxing and releasing. Let go of any tension or discomfort in the hips and the glutes. Letting go what no longer serves you. See where you can relax a little bit more with your next breath. Good, and from here we're going to work with a breathing exercise. So there is a hand option if you want to use the hands for this breathing exercise. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 4, incorporating a balancing breath. I'm going to also do working with a hand mudra. to just help the mind to stay in the moment with the breath. And so I'm going to offer 1, 2, 3, 4 as you take a breath in, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 as you take a breath out. So I'm going to just rest my palms on my hands, but just showing that again. So 1 with the index finger and the thumb, 2, 3, 4, and then with your exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'll just show it on the hands, or resting on the knees, 1, 2, 3, 4 as you take a breath in, and then with my exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so I'm just repeating that inside my mind. So 1, 2, 3, 4 as you take a breath in, 4, 3, 2, 1 as you take a breath out. So I worked with that a little bit this weekend, and some breathing and meditation I did, and so I just wanted to offer that to you. And if you don't want to use the hand mudras, then just simply inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4 counts. So we're going to incorporate this breath work for 2 minutes. Stay with the breath. Inhale 4, exhale 4. More rounds of the balancing breath. And with your next exhalation, we'll release the breath work, returning back to the natural rhythm of your own breathing. From here, we're going to move into a simple meditation. On your inhalation, mentally affirm here and now. And on your exhalation, mentally affirm present moment. Other thoughts may come to the mind, letting them pass and coming back to the meditation. Here and now, present moment. For 2 minutes, make any adjustments if your body could be more comfortable. You could also work with the fingertips if you'd like, here and now. On your inhale, present moment. On your exhale. So see if that could be of support. present moment with your exhalation. Three more rounds of breath at the meditation. Upon your next exhalation, we'll release a meditation. Once again, coming back to the breath. Take a moment to sense any changes in the body or the mind. From here, we'll take the hands to the heart center in Anjali Mudra, bow slightly to the hands, and just take a few moments to honor yourself for being here this afternoon. Letting this time be a gift and opportunity to consciously and positively connect to your body and breath. And may this awareness ripple out into the universe. We'll slowly begin to release. Extend your legs out, shake out your knees a little bit. If you were on your back for the meditation breathwork, transition up to seated and join us. And then take your hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards your body. Bring your feet wider than your hips, out towards the side edges of a mat if you're on a mat. And then just simply sway the legs side to side like windshield wipers on a car. Just gently releasing our hips from our cross-legged position. Taking it to that pace and rhythm that feels best to your body. Good, and then the next time the legs land over to your right side, let's just release them to the floor. Looking down towards your left hand for a little twist. Try to just allow the weight of your legs to relax towards gravity. And if this is too much pressure anywhere, stick something between the knees or underneath that lower knee. Return to your breath. Inhale, head and knees back to center, and exhale over to the other side. Legs to the left as you gaze to the right. Nice deep breaths here. Good. Inhale, head and knees back to center. Returning back to a comfortable cross-legged seated position or any position that's comfortable. If cross-legged doesn't feel good to your body, extend one or both legs out, or just make some adjustments so you are comfortable. Palms will be face down on the knees. We're just going to begin to make simple circles with the torso, circling up towards your feet and rounding back towards your hips. Taking it again as fast or as slow as you'd like. Next time you come up towards the front of the mat or your front body, reverse directions. Returning back to center. Side bend flow. Take the right hand to the floor. We'll inhale and exhale the left overhead, hinging over to the side. Inhale brings us to center, and exhale over to the other side. So continue in this way a few more times. Keep your sits bones connected to the floor, beginning to open and lengthen up in the side waist and the side body. Couple more. Good. Next time you land over on your left side, let's hang there together for several breaths. Top palm can face the floor. Invite that top shoulder to soften down the back body. Rooting that right sits bone to the earth, opening up in that QL muscle in the back. Inhale brings you to center. Exhale over to the other side. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale back to center. Exhale, walk the hands out, coming into a simple seated forward fold. So here we're going to let the body take shape of the pose. So let the shoulders round, let the head hang. Arms can be extended from your body. You might have the flexibility to come down to your elbows. You could also stack a couple fists on top of each other to rest the forehead upon. So see which variation feels good to your body. We do want to begin to relax in your hips and your glutes. And so begin to send some breath down into the lower body. And even practice breathing up into the back of the heart and all the way up into the back of the neck. Try to use the breath to alleviate tension and discomfort in the body, bringing that fresh prana life force to all the places. Three more nice deep breaths. Good. With your next exhale, walk the hands back towards the body. We're going to do a counter stretch for the spine. Take the hands behind you. Again, fingertips pointing towards the body. Lean back into the heels of your hands and kind of keep leaning back as if you were going to come back to your elbows. We're not going to go back that far. And then take your mind to your heart. Imagine you've got a little string lifting from your heart. Lift the heart to the sky. Gaze up if you can. Bring the weight into the heels of the hands as you lean back a little bit, giving our spine that counter stretch, the opposite way of our forward fold. 2 more breaths. Good. Press with the heels of the hands, come back up. Let's rotate the wrist around 3 times in each direction. Good. Shake out the legs, extend your knees out again, shake out your legs a little bit, and then you're welcome to come back to that same position, or you could take your opposite leg in front if you want to keep the hip flexors evened out a little bit. We're going to move into a twist flow. So settle back onto the sits bone so the core muscles are engaged, and just notice the shoulders. If shoulders are coming forward, roll them back to the back body. Okay, from here we'll inhale the arms overhead, gaze up to the hands if that's okay for the neck. Exhale, left hand lands at the right knee, right hand behind you, exhale over the right shoulder. We're going to go side to side. Inhale, arms come back overhead, gaze up. Exhale, twist to the other side. So this is our flow. Continue to move in this way with your breath. I'm going to give a little different angle here. So make sure that you're continuing to reach for the crown of your head as you transition into the twist so we can continue to lengthen and elongate in the spine. A couple more, awakening the spine, giving a nice little boost to our immune system. Good. The next time you're looking over your left shoulder, let's hang there together for several breaths. So that backhand, those fingertips can point away from your body. But rather than leaning into that backhand, stay on the sits bones with a nice tall spine. So you're kind of using your hand like a kickstand on a bike to just kind of help keep you nice and tall with the spine. Sits bones are both rooted to the earth. Nice deep breaths here. One more breath into the back body. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, twist to the other side. Deep, sweet breaths here. Moving into cat-cow flow or a spinal twist, flex. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, grasp onto the knees as you tuck the chin towards the chest, arching back to a cat back. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, heart comes forward, gaze to the ceiling in cow spine. Exhale back to cat back, and inhale into cow spine. Continue in this way a few more times with your breath. Really opening up the spine and opening in the heart. Open yourself to self-compassion, self-acceptance, and self-love. 3 more with the breath. last one. And come back to center. Once again, extend the legs out. So we're going to do a little bit of a flow here. We're going to work with a fold, and then we're going to come into a side angle pose. So I just want to show you, you might not be up for this, part 2, okay? So part 1 is you're going to take your right sole of the foot into the left inner thigh. Here we're going to invite more of a flat back, so rather than rounding our shoulders towards the legs, we want to keep the wings back on the back body. So I'm just going to do this really quick to start. We're going to come into the fold, then we're going to release from our fold. Stay longer if you don't want to come into this next variation. We'll take the right hand onto the right knee and lifting the left hip. So here's our side angle. And so we're just going to flow with this a couple more times. Okay, so this is going to be our little flow. We're going to flow with that, and then we're going to hold in both places, holding in the lunge, holding in the fold and holding in that side angle. So again, if you're not up for coming onto the knee and lifting the hips, simply stay for the forward fold the entire time. You're going to get a really nice stretch, more of a yin kind of essence of a stretch where you'll be in it for quite a long time. Here for this bent knee, if this knee is higher in the air and it's just uncomfortable there, prop something underneath the knee. Roll up a towel, a couch cushion, pillow, something so that you feel supported. Okay, so we're going to flow 3 times with this, and then we're going to hold in the fold and hold in the side angle. All right, flex your left foot to start. Come back onto your sits bones, settle back onto the sits bones, the bony prominence underneath the buttocks muscles. You'll sense your core muscles engage as you release back to the sits bones. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips, coming to forward fold. We're going to flow here, so inhale, reach the hands beyond that front foot. Exhale, right hand comes to the floor, onto the right knee, raising your left hip. Exhale, release, flowing 2 more times. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, release the hands beyond the front foot. Exhale, side angle. Exhale, release. 1 last flow. Inhaling up. Woo. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, release the hands beyond the front foot. Exhale, side angle. Exhale, release. And now we're going to hold. So inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips. So here the toes are not the goal. Just lengthening in the back of your own leg is the goal. So when you feel a stretch, your hands can come alongside the thigh, the knee, the calf. Maybe you take it to the foot and the toes. You could wrap a strap or a belt across the sole of the foot if you want to use that. But here we want to invite a flat back, so keep the shoulders on your back body. And then once you get settled, begin to invite that right knee towards the earth, giving a little stretch here in that right hip flexor. So a little resistance there. And I'm just gazing down to the left knee to keep my neck in alignment with the spine. 4 more breaths here. Begin to notice that lengthening in the back of your leg. All right, transitioning towards our side angle. And if you don't want to join me there, then just stay here longer for a few more breaths. Otherwise, inhale the hands beyond the front foot, back overhead. Exhale to side angle. Press the pubic bone forward. I've got full weight of my whole palm and all 5 fingers on that right hand. 2 more breaths, building strength. Good. Exhale, gently release. Extend that leg out, the opposite leg. Shake out both knees. All right, we'll take that over to our other side. Left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. So we'll start with the flow, and then we're going to hold in each place. Come back onto the sits bones so core muscles are engaged. Bring a flexion to your right foot so that side is engaged, and we'll begin. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips, coming towards that leg. Flowing here. Inhale, reach the hand beyond the front foot. Exhale, now left hand comes down to the mat, onto the left knee, raising your right hip. Full left palm on the floor. Exhale, release. 2 more flows. Inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the hands beyond the front foot, back overhead. Exhale, left hand comes down onto the left knee, raising the right hip. Exhale, release. 1 last time, inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach beyond the front foot, back overhead. Last time, side angle. Exhale, release. Good, and now we'll hold in our fold and our side angle. Inhale, the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips, coming to that right side. And our bodies are balanced in different ways, so just accommodate and modify as needed so you're most comfortable. Gazing to that knee to keep neck in alignment with the spine. And then begin to encourage your left knee, that bent knee, towards the earth. Keeping the wings on your back body. Three more deep, sweet breaths. Good, and we'll transition towards our side angle or stay here longer. Inhale, take the hands towards the front foot, back overhead. Exhale, side angle. One more breath. Exhale, release. Good, once again, extend both legs out, shake out your knees a little bit. All right, come back to a seated, comfortable seated position. We're gonna just do some kind of quote unquote quick neck work. So take the fingertips to a low V, settle back to the sits bones, lengthen through the crown of the head. Good, take a deep breath in. Exhale, shifting left ear to left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, take the chin towards the chest. Inhale back to center. Exhale, gaze up to the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale over your left shoulder. Inhale back to center. 5 shoulder circles in each direction. Good, reverse directions again. All right, friends, let's transition to hands and knees. If you want to shake out your knees one more time. Excuse me. Nose. All right, so we're gonna line wrist under shoulders and knees under hips. If you need any support underneath your knees, grab some kind of cushioning to support your body. And if you have sensitivity in the wrists, you could take your hands to fists. You could roll up the top of the mat to support underneath the heels of the hands, or just rolling up some other form of something to support if you need that support. Okay, cat-cow flow. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, begin to arch into cat back. Press your belly button to the spine and lift the back of the heart to the sky. And then inhale into cow, lifting tail, gazing up, and let the belly be soft. Exhale, arching up into cat back. And inhale into cow. Good, a few more times in this way, moving with the breath, creating that flow and rhythm that feels good to your body. 3 more here. Good, last one. And back to center. We're going to do a wrist stretch, so if you're okay to sit back on your heels, sit back on the heels. If that's too much, you could just stay up on your knees. And if you want an additional foot stretch, tuck those toes under for a little fascia stretch in the feet. Take fingertips together, rotate the wrist around in circles. Reverse directions, opposite way. All right, a little more focus on the hips. Come back to table. So here we're going to be strengthening in our piriformis, which is a muscle in the gluteals. And strengthening the piriformis is going to also support our pelvic floor, which is going to support our whole stability of the pelvic girdle. And so all we're going to do is knee lifts out to the side. So you're going to inhale as you lift the right knee and exhale, bring it back to table. So just begin to do the knee lifts. I look to the floor to keep the neck in alignment with the spine. And now you don't need to lift as high as the hip, even if you're just lifting that leg out a few inches out to the side, you're still engaging that musculature. All right, I wanted to do 10 on each side. There's 4 more here. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. All right, last one. Okay, I'm just going to switch a different direction so we can see, and now we're going to take that over to our left side. Inhale as you lift, and exhale, release. More. 2 more. Good, last one. Awesome, Blossom. Let's come to child's pose. I'm switching around here. So take your feet or your knees wider than your hips out towards the side edges of a mat. Big toes will come towards center. Take the buttocks to the heels and take the forehead to the floor. So coming into child's pose, if the forehead doesn't naturally reach, stack a couple fists on top of each other to rest upon. And then just as you get settled, then try to yield all of your weight into the earth as you sink into the breath. Breathing into the low back, breathing into the hips, letting go where you can. Three more breaths. Good. Begin to walk the hands back towards the body. Bring the knees back towards each other. We're going to do another wrist stretch. This time we'll interlace our fingers, making figure eights with hands and wrists. Good. Reverse directions, opposite way. All right, we just strengthened and now we're going to re-lengthen. So come back to table. We're going to do a child's pose flow. So again, take your knees wider than your hips and the big toes will come towards the center midline. And then we're going to walk our hands 1 or 2 inches towards the front of the mat or away from our body. And then we're going to flow with these 2 movements. So inhale as you come up. We're going to take the weight into the hands and all 10 fingertips. Lift the chest, chin, and eyes up towards the ceiling. And then exhale as you release back towards a child's pose. Inhale as you come up, releasing in the low back. Exhale, sinking back into the hips. Moving in this way a few more times. Find the flow, find your rhythm. Good, 3 more here. Last one. All right, come back to child's pose. We're going to hang here for 5 more breaths. And we'll gently release. Begin to walk the hands back towards the body. Once again, bring the knees back towards each other. We're going to work with some lunges, so come up to your knees. And again, if you need some kind of cushioning, get something for underneath your knees, and then step forward with your right foot. We're going to do several lunge variations. So starting off here, if you have more tightness in your knees or your hips, then you're going to probably want your foot closer to your body. One of the main alignment pieces of a lunge is we want to keep our ankle underneath our knee. So just making sure you've got that nice degree. So if you have more openness in your knees or your hips, you can scoot your foot more away from your body so you can sink deeper into your hips. But we still want to keep that alignment piece with the ankle below the knee. So just scooting your limbs so that you're aligning with your body. Good. Sometimes shoulders will creep to the ears. Try to soften them down the back body. We're going to come into a counter stretch. So press through the foot. We're going to inhale as we come up. We're going to straighten that knee and flex that foot. The hands can come to your hips. Still keep a little bend and softness in this knee rather than fully locking in that knee. Even tuck the tail a little bit here so we're engaging these lower belly muscles, so protecting in the low back. And then let's begin to flow with these two movements. So inhale into the lunge, hands can come to the knee or blocks if you have them. And exhale to the hamstring stretch. A few more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale. All right, come back to the lunge. And now stay here. If you want to take it to the variation, we're going to come into runner's lunge. So you can take the hands to the floor, tuck those left toes under, and lift your left knee off the floor. So another variation. And then last variation is to lift the right arm for a twist. Breathing wherever you are. Good. Hand can come back to the floor. Left knee releases to the mat. Take the hands to that front knee. Yield and push yourselves up to switch sides. Take your time. Left foot comes to the front of the mat. Scooting to your comfort here as far as how deep you want to go into the lunge, aligning your ankle below the knee, softening shoulders down the back, and settling here with the breath. Counter stretch, we're going to straighten that left leg, flex the left foot, hands come to the hips, tuck the tail a little bit so lower belly is engaged. And then we'll flow with these two movements. Inhale into the lunge, exhale back to the hamstring stretch. Inhale to the lunge, exhale, a few more. Good, last one. All right, come back to the lunge. Stay here if you'd like, otherwise take the hands to the floor. We're going to transition to runner's lunge, tucking the right toes under, so you're lifting your right knee off the floor. And if you want to do the last variation for a twist, lifting your left arm into the air. Good, hand can return to the floor. Release your right knee down to the floor, and we'll gently release. Let's come up to standing. All right, take your feet wider than your hips. Imagine you've got a hula hoop around your waist. Rotate your hips around in big, wide circles. I always like to do these hula hoop circles after I do any kind of lunges because it just kind of counter stretches the hip flexors. All right, reverse directions, opposite way. Back to center, standing pelvic tilts. Lift the sits bones behind you and then tuck the tail. Tilt the sits bones, tuck the tail. A few more. Last one. Good, back to center, standing twist. I like to roll onto my toes. You can also keep the feet just connected to the floor. One more to each side. All right, back to center. Cross crawl, some yoga for the brain. Take your left elbow to the right knee and right elbow to your left knee, crossing midline of the body, tapping your opposite limb. Try some behind you, making sure to tap your opposite foot. And then one set in the front and one set in the back. And one more set of each. All right, and release. So we're going to do stargazer and then a dancer pose option for our balancing pose today. So start on your right foot, spread out those yoga toes. Just going to do a side view here. So stargazer is you're gonna balance on your left leg, and then you're just gonna bend your right knee, and if you can, grab your right foot. And eventually your left arm would go overhead. So this is stargazer. You wanna try to release the heel towards the buttock and straighten that thigh out as best as you can so we get that nice lengthening the quadricep muscles. Okay, so here's stargazer. If you can't grasp the foot, then just lift your toes off the floor. You could be here with your arms at a low V. This could be your stargazer. You could take your arms overhead. Just practice balancing. If you're more shaky and you need to be at a wall, awesome. You could also kind of grab your yoga pant leg and balance here. So find your stargazer. Good. Tuck the tail so lower belly's engaged. And then stay here if you want. If you want to go further into dancer, just begin to hinge at your hips. And stay balancing in dancer pose. Yee! So stargazer or dancer. So play with that for a few rounds. Oh my goodness. Thank you, bookshelf. All right. Okay, when that feels complete on that side, rotate that ankle a few times in each direction. And then we will switch over to our other side. So spread the toes on your right foot before you start, and then grasp the left foot, pressing that heel into the buttocks so we get a nice stretch in the quadricep. Right arm extends overhead. So hang in here for a few rounds of stargazer, a few rounds of breath. Okay, good. And then stay here if you want, or if you want to shift into dancer pose and begin to hinge at the hips. Breathing. Ooh, grateful for the wall. Back to stargazer. Good, and then when that side feels complete, release. So stargazer or dancer. And when you gently and gracefully come out of that, then rotate the ankle around a few times. All right, we're gonna come back onto our backs on our mats. All right. So using the strength of your core to slowly lower yourselves down. Once you reach the mat, we'll take our feet wider than our hips to the edges of the mat if you have one. Arms will come out to a T, palms to the floor. So we'll keep the head forward and invite the shoulder blades to sink into the floor, and then just sway the legs side to side. And inhale them to one side and exhale to the other. Again, finding that pace and rhythm that feels good here. Do you want to go faster with this twist, or do you need to slow it down? Good, and now we'll shift into a twist flow. So begin to look in the opposite direction of your knees. Good, one more to each side. And then the next time your legs land over onto your right side, let's release them to the floor for a double knee down twist. Try to just allow the weight of the legs to release towards gravity as you stay with your breath. Inhale, head and knees back to center. Exhale, legs to the left as you gaze to the right. Nice deep breaths, shoulder blades releasing into the earth. Inhale, head and knees back to center. Keep the knees bent, but bring them to hips distance apart, so aligning your ankles below the knees. Arms can be comfortable alongside your body. Moving into keyhole pose. Start by taking your right ankle bone to your left thigh bone. Okay, so as you put that the heel, ankle to the thigh, you might already have a stretch there in that right hip. If so, stay here. First variation would be to prop something underneath your left foot to increase that stretch. Block, pillow, cushion. Third variation is to take that knee towards the chest. Fourth variation, thread the hands through to the either top of the knee or underneath the knee along the hamstrings. And so you could interlace with your hands, you could take a strap or a scarf or a sarong or some kind of fabric. So this is that piriformis that we're opening on that right side. So that was also the muscle we strengthened when we did those knee lifts. So this is a great opportunity to just counter stretch those muscles. It's a fine balance of strengthening and then re-lengthening. So we strengthened as we build more tone in the muscle fibers, and then we re-lengthen as we lengthen back the muscle fibers. So it's such a great, beautiful balance of strengthening and lengthening. Thank you, yoga. And then if you want to increase that stretch just a little bit, flex both feet, and that's just going to take it a little bit deeper into the hip flexor. It's a slight rotation there. 2 more beautiful breaths. And with your next exhale, release. Take both feet to the floor, ankles together, knees together, and just rock the legs out a few inches to each side. Bring the knees back to center. Return your feet to hips distance apart. And now left ankle bone to the right thigh bone. Okay, so same variation. You might already have a stretch here, stay here. Prop something underneath the foot. Begin to bring the knee towards the chest or thread the hands through. So see which feels good here. On this side, we are balanced in different ways from side to side. So just accommodate so you're most comfortable. You might like a little tuck of the chin towards the chest here, lengthening out the cervical spine. And then after you get settled here, return the mind to the breath as you try to release your thoughts. Relax your face and release in the jaw. And if you'd like to gently increase that stretch, flexing both feet for the last 3 breaths. Upon your next exhalation, we'll gently release. Feet come back to the mat, knees together, ankles together. Rock the legs out a few times to each side. Good, and now we will transition towards Shavasana, final relaxation. So options here, you could be in a constructive rest pose where your feet are wider than the hips and the knees come to the center to touch and support each other. Arms could be at a low V. You could be extended the legs all the way to the floor and just kind of let the feet fall out towards the side. Arms could be, arm variation for all options are low V, they could be out to a T, they could be in cactus arms. You could take a hand to the heart, a hand to the belly. Another leg variation, just have the knees bent. Or you could be in reclined butterfly, taking the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. So just take a few moments to make adjustments, movements. See if you need to add any socks or clothes so you're more comfortable. Grab a blanket or a pillow. So getting cozy for the next little bit. We're going to have some sound healing Shavasana. Shavasana is an opportunity to allow us to integrate our practice into the body, mind, and spirit. With each breath, allowing that integration. As you invite your whole self to come into a peaceful state of relaxation. If the mind still feels extra active, you can work with the balancing breath from our beginning or our meditation here and now with your inhale, present moment with your exhalation. So staying actively awake here, not falling asleep if you can. Shavasana is still a conscious position and a conscious pose, but just relaxing, releasing, and integrating with each breath. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. Deepening and lengthening in the breath. As you deepen your breath, inviting gentle movements to your body, wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists and ankles. If you'd like, reaching arms overhead as you extend the legs out long into a full body stretch. And then roll to your right side. Use your lower arm to support your head, taking a couple more relaxing breaths on your side. And then using the strength of hands, elbows, and arms, gently lifting yourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Take your time. We'll close our practice today with one Om, placing your palms wherever is comfortable. Let's take a deep breath in to begin, please. Inhaling. Bringing the hands to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll end by praying for peace with one Om, 3 Shantis, and 3 pieces. Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May we carry it into our worlds. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Blessings.